It is Saturday evening. The weekend is finally here for me. It's been a long week. This weekend we're going to work on the tubular rear trailing arms finally. I've been coming out little by little each night and getting pieces ready and stuff. And I learned how not to use the lathe. I got a large gash, fucking like 3/8 deep down into my fucking wrist. So now I'm scared shitless of it, like a little girl. I think I'm getting it figured out though. We have shirts. By the time you see this, the website should be up. There's shirts, hoodies, and stickers on there. If you like what I'm doing here, go pick something up. If you want to support the channel, all the money will go right back into the channel, making it better, getting better content out, and getting better camera equipment and so on and so forth. So if you're new to the channel, this is what we're working on. This is a 96 Honda Civic Coupe that we drove in here. It was bone stock. I got it for $500, and we have bent and notched and welded the cage and started on the stuff to make it all-wheel drive. So if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click subscribe if you like what I'm doing, and I'll get y'all up to speed with where we're at with the trailing arms. Alrighty, so over the week I've kind of been coming out here after work and working on a few things here and there. These are the hubs from the last video, and what I did here was I just bolted them to the jig. That way they'd be easier to pull in and out. But my plan here is, this was a piece of 5-inch tube, and it yielded these guys right here. I cut these in the bandsaw. They're about 5 inches long. I might not need them that long. I might be able to cut them down. But these guys are going to wind up going right here like this. I've got to cut a plate out for them. That way we can bolt the front to this. But I'll get to that here in a little bit. So if you've been watching the videos for a while, you know about this guy right here. These are kind of a universal spherical bushing that I found with a weld-on sleeve. So this will press down into here, and then I can press it out and replace it if I ever need to. So the way I've thought a whole lot about how I'm going to mount these. This is a factory style one. I know it's not a factory one, but and this is this piece out of a factory one. And what I did was I stripped all the rubber off of it and stuck it in the lathe and turned it down to the internal diameter of this. I don't think I'm going to use this on the car. I think I'm going to make my own, but I really need a mill to do it. So I'm probably just going to use this for the jig to get it all welded up. And then when I get ready to put them on the car, I'll make some, or hopefully by then I'll have a mill. I say that like it's not a very expensive tool. So this will sit in here just like this on our jig, and I got to get it lined up on the center line just like this one. And then our bung will, or our tube will press onto it, and then we'll weld on to there. So that's what I've got done so far. I've only got one side done, or the pieces for one side done. But I'm going to try to go ahead and get one side tacked together. I still have to bend the tube and cut these plates right here. So I'm going to go ahead and start cruising on cutting these plates and getting them figured out and welded together. That way we can get them bolted up and mocked up. That way we can bend our tube for the body of the control arm that'll come out and kick over into it. Then once we get all that done, we'll come back here and put our toe arm, or build a toe arm for it. So let's start cutting some plate. All right, guys, so I got one side, the hub main body part on one side figured out last night. This is all just pressure fit together. I haven't welded it, and it's not, 100% square yet. But it is bolted together right here. So what I did was, this is the one for the other side. I cut this ring out using like a 5-inch hole saw. It worked out about perfect. And then I used the pilot hole for the arbor to drill another hole inside of it. Now that hole was too small. It wasn't right for what I was trying to do, and it wasn't centered right. So I took this and I stuck it on the lathe, and I opened up the center of it to where it fits just about perfect on the hub. If I can get it on there. Yeah, so. And then, once I did that, like I said, it's just about perfect. I took a transfer punch and I punched the holes for the bolts, upside down with it all, where it all fits together. Then I drilled them out, and this is what we have. I don't know if you can see in there, but it worked really well. Like I said, none of this is welded or anything yet, and it all fits together real well. So now I've got to move on to the bushings in the back. So like I said, I took the factory pin and turned it down to where the spherical bushing would fit on there. But the more I think about that, I don't really want to do that, because I don't want this in here while I'm welding the sleeve on that it goes in. So what I'm going to do is, I found the center line of this guy, and I figured out the center line of this, and I've translated it to where the collar will be center, and I'm going to just turn down an aluminum bushing on the lathe for this to slide onto. That way I know it'll be straight and it's not going to go anywhere, and I won't damage this guy by welding on it. One thing I've learned about this lathe is that it takes a lot of time to make a part. When you figure you're taking off 5/1000ths of an inch at a time, and you got to take off, a 1/4 of an inch or something, it takes a long time. So I'm going to try to at least knock one out, and maybe we could get, the main body on, but we'll see. So that's where I'm at with it this morning. It's Super Bowl Sunday, so I doubt I'll watch it. I'll probably be out here fooling with this stuff, but I want to try to get as much knocked out as I can. Alright guys, I got a disaster area. Freaking brick of shavings. I've stood in front of that lathe all day long. It's like 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock now. But I got one of them figured out. Man, machining stuff is so tedious, and you can't just kind of use guesstimates. It's been a huge pain in the butt, learning or not understanding how long it was going to take to do, simple things. So this is like all weekend's worth of work right here, summed up into one nifty little thing. So it took me like 4 hours the other night to machine this pin down, and now it's taking me like 7 hours to machine this piece that's inside of here. And there's nothing to it. I mean, nothing to it. Here. This guy right here. Now granted, it started out as this. So when you realize, how much more is there, and I turned it down long enough to go ahead and make two, so I can make one for the other side. So, it was a lot of turning, but I've also figured out that I can take a lot deeper cuts than what I was taking. I was kind of scared because after that pipe flew off and shanked me, it spooked me. But I figured out, hell, on aluminum, I can take 30, 40 thousandths, 50 thousandths passes at a time and get quite a bit of material off. But anyway, off of all that subject, this is what we have now, you know, to be able to weld to. So when I was turning this on the lathe, I stopped right here at a certain point. I found the distance from that point to the center of where my bushing needed to be, and that's what I machined onto this collar right here. And then from there, I made this the width of the internal diameter of this, because it has 2 snap rings that'll sit in there that hold that spherical bushing in place. And then it fits together like so, and it's a really tight fit. But if you look, I mean, it's just about dead on. Here, let's see if I can do this with one hand. But that's about where it's gonna sit. So I mean, yeah, see, you can see where the snap ring sits inside of there. It's about dead on. It's not perfect, but it's, for what we're doing, it's super, super close. So I'll now be able to come in here and put the snap rings on that, and then weld our arm coming out over to this piece. And then, you know, I'll weld an arm up here, and I'll weld something back here to come to this. The only concern I have right now is that maybe this tube isn't thick enough material, but I think that it'll be fine. By the time I get a, you know, almost a 2-inch piece of tube right here, it's going to be supporting that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this brace up and then, you know, just web everything in. I'm super OCD about, or not OCD, but I guess I'm scared that I under support things. So, but this is it so far. I know it's not very much progress. I'm gonna do my best to come out here every night after work and machine all the little parts down that I need. That way I'm not spending all weekend doing it. I can put out better content, or more content, I guess I'd say. So I'm sorry for the short video. I know it sucks, but I'm tickled pink that we can machine stuff now. So that's it for this week, guys. I'm working on a Facebook page and a Instagram page. Check out the website, pick up some shirts. If you like what I'm doing here, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next week.